At L&M Fine Jewelry, we hand select our diamonds to give you the very best prices possible. Monty knows a great deal when he finds one. Find your great deal at L&M Fine Jewelry.
Your diamond destination.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys for tapping into another video. I'm joined by my dog, Samori Toure. Appreciate you for being on here with me, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. Appreciate the opportunity, you know?
Yeah, appreciate you, man. So I'm sitting here with a former Stats FCS All-American, Hero Sports All-American, Field Steel All-American, AP All-American, First Team All-Big Sky, UM Co-Offensive MVP, Terry Dillon Award winner, Academic All-Big Sky. He broke Hall of Famer Randy Moss's 1996 FCS playoff record and UM school record for receiving yards in a game with 303 against Southeast Louisiana, broke Mark Mariani's 2009 school record for receiving yards in a season with 1495, broke Joe Douglas's 1996 school record for receptions in a season with 82, or no, you had 87. I think the record was 82. Also broke Douglas's 1996 school record for yards in a game at 279. You had 303. Westview High School receiving yards leader at the time. A former 7th-round draft pick in the 2022 to the Green Bay Packers. First team All-Metro League wide receiver and DB as a senior. Set career touchdown receptions and yards records during his career at Westview High School. Set single-game receptions and yards records during his career at Westview High School. My dog from Portland, Oregon, Samori Toure. Appreciate you for being on here once again. Just had to rattle all that off, dog. Long list. What does it make you think about with me rattling all those off?
Just that it's been a long journey, you know. And you know, I'm like, dang, I really accomplished a lot, low key. You know, you kind of like not forget about it, but it kind of goes to the back of your mind the longer you play. But
100%.
yeah.
Dumb accomplishments, man. Crazy. So I want to get into your upbringing from Portland, Oregon. What were you like as a kid?
I was super into sports. You know, goofy kid. Was great friends with a lot of my teammates, so it seemed like they were my brothers almost. You know, no brothers, no sisters, but you know, my friends and my teammates, like I was, you know, always with them, and you know, sports kind of is what I was as a kid. You know, I was very, I played everything, played baseball, played football, played basketball, and you know how it is when people our age were kids. You know, we were more outside playing around in the neighborhood. You don't see that as much anymore, but yeah, I was a pretty active kid.
So what would you say you really gravitated to as a kid? Like, obviously football was probably a staple, but out of the sports you played, what did you like the most as a kid?
That's a hard one, but I'd probably say basketball. I mean, as a kid, if you asked me what my favorite sport was, usually I'll probably say whichever one was in season, because like any sport that was in season, I was kind of like all into that. But basketball is like kind of one of my biggest regrets at, you know, kind of giving up so early.
When did you stop playing?
After my freshman year of high school.
Dang, we're the same. But mine was different. I broke my back, and you know, I had
that's tough. It's tough to come back from that. But you're like, you know what? Let me focus on football because I don't need to be breaking my back.
I know, but it's kind of weird because when I tell people that, they're like, "Dang, you broke your back playing basketball, and then you ended up playing football." And a lot of people would think like football is more violent. So I don't know. When you first started playing football, what was that like for you as a kid? Like, how old were you when you first started playing? Actually,
I was in third grade.
Okay, same.
So how old is that? Like 10? 10?
Yeah, 9 or 10 somewhere. Because 7, I was older, so you were probably 9, honestly. Because I was 7, 8. Yeah, somewhere around there.
But I hated. I'm not gonna lie, I hated it, bro. At first, I did not like it just because I don't think I had the right coach. You know, I don't remember his name. I'm not gonna say his name, but he had me at linebacker, bro. You know, I was already naturally like kind of like a slimmer guy, but back then I was literally a twig, bro. It had me playing Mike, just getting ran. Like I'm constantly getting ran over.
Did you like
And
hitting, or were you like trying not to hit at
I
all?
like hitting. I mean, it's my first year, so it's like I don't know how to hit. Like I'm just
Yeah,
in there, just throwing
yeah,
my helmet around. Like and,
yeah.
they weren't as protective of like
Oh yeah. They didn't
back
care
then.
back then, bro. They
They
didn't
didn't care.
care.
I mean, they still did. At least I don't know for you, but for me, they still called like what's it called, like spearing, like when
I
you
don't even
as a
remember
running
that ever
back.
being called, bro.
Yeah, they would call that a lot, like people running with their head down. But as far as tackling, like there wasn't a lot of coaching with that, and there wasn't a lot of guides. So you know me, bro. I'm not a Mike. I'm not a
Yeah.
Mike linebacker. So I didn't like it my first year in third grade, but I thought about quitting, but I didn't quit because all my friends still played and I still had fun. But then
Yeah.
fourth grade is when I really kind of started to fall in love with it.
So you didn't play any offense, just Mike?
No, I play running back, but like
Okay.
I wasn't playing like that, and it was like a third fourth grade team,
Yeah.
but
So you were a
you weren't
younger
really.
kid.
I was younger and it was my first year. Like I wasn't really playing like that. Like I was just in there basically getting hit. So it wasn't fun. But then my next year, fourth grade, I got on a team with like more of my friends, and then they moved me to safety, which I
Ooh.
liked a lot better. And then it was my second year, kind of like playing running back, so I started snapping at running back for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at safety, I mean, you still got to hit. So what was different about safety? I mean, linebacker, you right in the trenches, so I
You in the
understand that. But
trenches, bro.
yeah,
If I'm that scrawny, I'm gonna need a little bit of a running start to make anything
yeah.
happen. And but just standing there, yeah. Don't make me relive that third grade year.
So what were the rules like? Because I know with us, like there was like stripers. So to be a no striper, you could carry the ball. One striper, you could play any position. You just couldn't carry the ball. And then like two striper, you had to be on the line. What was it like for you guys?
Yeah, we just had one striper, and it was a weight limit. I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
you couldn't touch the ball
Mm.
if you had a stripe.
Yeah, dudes like me and you, we wouldn't come close to that weight limit.
Yeah, what? I was not worried about it.
Okay, how did the place where you grew up shape your outlook on life? So you grew up in Portland, Oregon. How did that
Mm.
shape like your outlook on life?
Um, I'm not sure. It's really just kind of made me who I am, but it's kind of hard to like pinpoint certain things that you know about it. But I grew up in like a pretty good community, as far as like the schools that I went to, like all my friends and all the parents like got along. So it was like it's still a bigger city, but it was a pretty good community type vibe. Um,
Yeah.
all my friends like families were super welcoming, so it was I definitely had a good upbringing for sure that shaped me to who I am today.
Yeah. And you grew up in Tigard your whole life, or is that just where your high school was?
No, my high school was not in Tiger. My high school was in Beaverton. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's where I
So that's
grew.
where you stay now. That's where your house is now in Portland, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's in like kind of a different area. My new house is close to Nike, but I moved around a lot, like as a kid, but always kind of stayed in the same
Mhm.
vicinity.
Yep, for sure. So you're an only child, and what do you think? Like, did you always have friends? Because I know I had a friend Bailey that I grew up with. She was an only child, but she always like was around friends and stuff like that. Was that kind of like how it was for you? Like, you always had to have friends over, like friends staying the night, stuff like that.
I mean, no, it's not like I had to, and it's not like I was always like at my friends' houses. I mean, I would say I did a lot, but I don't think that has anything to do with me being an only child. It's just kind of how it is growing up, sleepovers
Yeah.
with your friends and your teammates.
Did you ever wish? Did you ever wish like you had like a brother or a sister or anything?
Yeah, I do. Just because like so many of uh my friends have siblings, and stuff like that, and I always like was close with all of them. But I mean, I don't like regret anything, because
Right.
I kind of like how everything turned out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know that life, so it's hard for you to say like you regret it or anything like that. And that wasn't your decision anyway.
Yeah.
um, what as a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Um, a professional athlete for sure. I think
Yeah.
my mom still has notes, or like journals that I wrote, saying like, fourth grade, bad handwriting. What do you want to be when you grow up? Professional athlete. I think I wrote NBA, at one point, but I think other times I just said professional athlete. So
Damn, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, I feel like
I feel like for
that's what every kid wants to be. I'm sure at other times, I said, doctor, lawyer, astronaut, like, random
right.
stuff like that. But I feel like every kid, at least every kid who plays sports, wants to, grow up and be in the league of some sort.
But I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I feel like in my head, I always thought like, yeah, it'd be cool to be a professional athlete, but I feel like I didn't really set that as a goal until like later in high school or like even during college is when I really set that as a goal. I don't even think as a kid that was something that like I was shooting for. To be real with you, bro.
That's crazy because it's kind of the opposite for me. Like, it's what I was shooting for as a kid, but then once I got to kind of like middle school, high school, I don't want to say I faded away from it, but I mean, not in middle school, but once I got to high school, I'm kind of like, okay, let's start getting realistic here. It's You start to realize how hard it is to make it to the league. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know why they do that, but all the coaches come in with it's only 1% of the 1% of the 1% that make
Yeah,
it.
bro.
Like, you got to have a backup plan. I'm like, yeah, 1% of the 1%. Like, I'm trying to do the math. Like, hold on, that's
Like
not
you need to
looking too good.
start.
I'm like, hold on, I'm on the freshman team, not even playing like that. Like, I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen. But then, later in my
Damn.
high school years, I started snapping, and I'm came back to it. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy because it's kind of opposite for the both of us.
So talk about that. You mentioned freshman year you didn't really play. Was that because you were too small? Was that because development issue, or what was that like?
I don't really know what it is. I think I just didn't. I'll probably put it on me and say I didn't take it as serious as I should
Yeah.
have. I feel like it's kind of different now, like in today's day and age, because you see more like middle schoolers and incoming freshmen shoot, even elementary schoolers like training hard outside
Yeah.
of like
For real.
practice and stuff. And
Facts.
and I never and
Facts.
I never did that. And like I said, I played every sport growing up, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ever train any sport like individual one on ones in the off season because I'm always playing a different sport. So it's like I would probably put that on me. Like, I didn't take it serious enough. I wasn't really putting in like the amount of work that it really takes. But also, how it is freshman year, you don't always get a fair shake, and it's just how it goes. But my freshman year was horrible. I think we won like one or two games, and that's worse when we're that bad and I'm still barely playing. I'm like, hold on, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. One
That's
percent,
why you got
one
real
percent
with
of the one
yourself.
percent. I said, okay, hold on. Let me get in these books. Let me get in these books.
Damn. I lost my train of thought, but that is
Yeah.
crazy.
So that
Well, that's what I was gonna. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No. I thought you were gonna go like freshman, sophomore, like that.
No, I will. We'll get
Yeah.
there in a second. But
Yeah.
like, same with me. Like, you mentioned the training, bro. Like, I never. I didn't even work with a trainer in college, and I probably should have worked with a trainer in college. Like, I did a little bit
Yeah. I
here and
mean,
there, but
it's
I
tough
never
when
had like a consistent.
we were in Montana, bro. So it's like it's not too many out there that can get on the field with you and tell you how to run
You
routes.
know,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be so much better for these dudes now that they got that indoor.
Right.
But like, even in freshman year, like junior year, like you mentioned, some kids now are like training from elementary school, middle school. Like, that never even crossed my mind, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and that might also be because I never had aspirations to go to that level. But bro,
Yeah,
it was
no,
never
but
there
it
for
was.
me.
I don't feel like it was as common, when like I said, people our age were in middle school, high school. Like, you saw it, but like the people who you saw training outside of their sport, like growing up, had a dad or like some type of family figure
Yes.
that was like, "You're making it to the
Yes.
league. Like, I don't care what you
Yep.
say." Like, and those were the best players usually. So it's like the top of
Yeah.
the top players were like doing the training, and everyone else was with playing whatever sport or whatever. But
And
nowadays, I think it's also with social media too. Like, you see all these people training
yeah.
online, and you get better like
Yep.
information. But
More access,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, bro.
And I don't know what it was like for you, bro, but both of our dads are African.
Mm.
My dad really, like, my dad was an academic dude. Like, he was telling me to hit the books. Like, he never really cared if we went to play professional or not, or even if we played college ball. Like, what
Yeah,
was your dad like along those
yeah.
lines?
It was similar. Like, he was more of like a basketball and soccer fan. He didn't really care
Yep.
about football or know about football, but he didn't care what I did as long as like I
Yeah.
said, he did care about academics. Like, as long as your
Yeah.
grades are good and you're not messing up in anything, like, I don't care what you do. He never like kind of pushed me to a certain career field or anything. But I don't know if he thought the NFL was a possibility either, until
Yeah.
like way later.
Like probably like 2019
Yeah.
or 2017, 2018 when things actually started to pop off
Yeah.
in college. He's probably like, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so talk about your sophomore year. No playing time freshman year. What was your mindset like going into sophomore year, and how did that year turn out?
I mean, going into my sophomore year, I didn't have a great mindset because of how the previous year went, and I
Yeah.
still wasn't like let me start working hard and because that was honestly before 7-on-7 was popular too, which is another
Yep.
big thing. But sophomore was kind of the same story. Like I was just on JV now, and it was tough because we had people in front of me that were junior. You know how juniors, play JV sometimes if they're not good enough. So obviously
Yeah.
they're gonna get snaps over me, a sophomore.
Yep.
But yeah, that was tough, bro. I'm a sophomore on JV, like still barely playing, bro. Getting in at the end of the game, and like I would swing varsity some games. And you know
Yeah.
that how it works in the playoffs. You get a swing varsity, they give you crazy number like 47. I think I had some crazy
Yeah.
number, like disrespectful. I looked like a bum out there. I know I did.
Big jersey.
Yeah,
Don't even fit.
and it's playoffs too, so it's cold. You just standing on the sideline the whole game, like that. It was bad, bro. And they had put me in like in blowouts. I remember my first time they put me in high school. I went in there. I dropped. They threw me a slant. Like good ball, but there's a hook player there. Footsteps,
Yeah.
footsteps, footsteps. And looking back on it, he was probably like a 5'8", like 185. Like it's high school, bro. It's not. They don't be big
Bro.
linebackers. But I was just
Yes.
T-Rex arms. I'm like, bro, this can't be. This can't be.
So that whole season still. No, you're not really getting any action.
Like
you're not really.
I'm playing in JV, like especially when the juniors on JV would swing varsity and actually play, so they would only play like a half or something. Like when they put me in, like I would low key snap on JV, but it's just looking back on it, I don't know what it was. Maybe the coaches just didn't see it. They didn't see the vision.
Yeah. So what did your stats finish? How'd you finish your statistically that year?
I don't know, bro. I don't want to know my stats from that year. It was, if I had to guess, it would probably be like 200 yards all season. Like I don't know. So I don't even think they keep JV stats. Let's be real.
Facts. They not, bro. I mean, they probably got them on some paper.
They got them, but it's unofficial. They probably had a high schooler recording it, so it's like, yeah.
So you stopped playing basketball freshman year. So we just talked about your sophomore year. At this point, like you're football, right? Like or track too. You got track too.
Going into my junior year.
Well, you said you stopped playing basketball your freshman year, right?
Yeah. So sophomore year it was just track. It was just track and football.
So at this point, it's like either this academic thing's gonna pop off, either football's gonna pop off, track's gonna pop off, or like so going into your junior year, what was your mindset?
I mean, bro, as a sophomore in high school, I'm not thinking about my future too hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
I'm not like, all right, like what am I gonna do? You're still a kid, like you're going through high school. But so initially going into my junior year, it wasn't looking too good just because obviously the pedigree so far, freshman year, sophomore year, like it's not much production and not much experience at that. But then the two people who were supposed to be the starters that year, one ended up transferring, and then I think the other one got in trouble. I don't remember what happened, but it kind of like opened a spot for me. And the coaches didn't really have too much faith in me. Like they're like, okay, like he can play a little bit, but we haven't seen him too much. So it was just kind of like that perfect timing, perfect opportunity moment where it's like, all right, like, and we had a good team our junior year. Like we had a lot of hype going into that year. So it was like,
you had a nice quarterback, right?
Yeah, we had a nice we had a lot of good players, bro. Nice quarterback, nice running back, nice receiver. But it was kind of like you go in there and don't mess this up, because it's kind of like this is our year to do it, and I'm a junior with not really a lot of experience on varsity. Like, just do what you're supposed to do. Don't do too much, and we'll see how it goes.
In the Treasure State, University of Montana football is a way of life. Lithia Ford has long been a proud sponsor of Grizz football, and Lithia Ford of Missoula is thrilled to have several of the best Montana football seniors driving the best trucks in Montana. Aspen Sound is the premier car audio and accessory shop in Montana. Aspen Sound makes sure the boys are riding in style with tinted windows and state-of-the-art stereo systems. There's always a party in Montana. Whether you're going to a concert, a wedding, or a football game, the Montana Party Bus will get you there. Skyline Sports and ESPN MT cover the Big Sky with more depth than anyone. Check out SkylineSportsMT.com and tune in to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula every day. My Montana Roots and Wear Your Roots clothing is your go-to spot for the most unique and comfortable lifestyle clothing you'll find anywhere. And get your custom t-shirts to support your favorite player. From 5 local businesses who love Montana, best of luck to the Grizz as they pursue another Big Sky Conference championship.
So how did that year go?
It went well, bro. Like I took advantage of my opportunity for sure. Like I don't remember the stats. My junior year, I think it was like 800 some yards, like 50 catches, maybe around eight touchdowns. So definitely did better than a lot of people.
I don't appreciate how you looking down on your stats, bro.
I know, but that's not a lot.
Like 500 yards,
bro. That's not a lot. Like if you look at people who are in the league, doing as a junior, even sophomore and freshman in high school. It sounds like a lot to you because you know how it was at your high school.
Yeah, he's running
the ball. So that sounds like a lot, but when you're throwing the ball every play, it's not that much.
Man, bro, I had 7 touchdowns my whole career. You had 8 your junior year.
We seen your highlight tape. A lot of good blocks there, man.
Bro, I mean, yeah, we're not gonna get into it, bro. So. Junior year finishes. I was reading that you guys had a new OC come in the spring, Cody Hawkins.
New head coach, new OC, new coach.
New regime, new everything. So what was that like? Because that's kind of late. Like you got the summer and then you got fall right there. What was that like?
It was actually a great thing, honestly. You know, looking back at it, just because.
Yeah.
He had a very good offense and he had a good game plan and he came in like and watched all the film from the year before. And I think like it was kind of like a fresh start for me because, you know, the old coaches, they just, like I said, they didn't see the vision. You know, they had seen me from freshman through junior. And even though I had a good year, like it could be more. So a fresh set of eyes came in and watched all the film from last year and was like, okay, we need to get this dude the ball. And I can't say enough good things about Cody Hawkins, just the type of guy he is, type of coach he is. You know, a lot of respect for him for sure.
Bro, that's so crazy because that's kind of similar to the way I feel about like Coach Houck coming into Montana. Mm-hmm. Like, not that I don't appreciate the stit staff they gave him my offer, but like that new set of eyes coming in. I remember Coach Pease when he sat me down, he's like, "I'm looking at you like you're 6'4". Like, I don't know, it really makes a difference, bro. Yeah. It makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. So your senior year, what was that like? So at this point, are you getting recruited, or what do things look like for you in terms of schools and stuff?
So after my junior year, that's when I was like, okay, we might be able to do something with this. You know, we might be able to. I'm not thinking about league yet. I'm thinking about a free school. You know, because I'm looking around. You know, my state, like, okay, I can hang with these boys. But so that
now your confidence is really starting to build, huh?
But more importantly, that's the first year I actually trained in the off season and got like individual one-on-one training, and that was my first and only year doing 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big thing for me.
So I read that pylon 7-on-7 was something that like really like sparked you to maybe get some more attention. Was that something that you performed well at and got some attention from?
Yeah, that's what's crazy. That's something that I did very well at. You know, I felt like, you know, kind of because going into that, you know, certain people were like, "Yo, this is your opportunity right here. Like, it's Vegas, it's national. Like, you can really get a lot of offers out of this." I'm like, I'm excited. I'm like, bet, let's do it. And it's 7-on-7 too. So like, that's as a receiver, it's like you got to eat in that. And I went crazy at the camp. I think we lost in like the quarterfinals or something like that. We played really well.
Semis.
Semis, yeah, it might have been semis, but nothing happened. I'm like, after that, I'm like, okay, bet, like they're about to start rolling in. I just need that first one. You know how you think. I just need that first one, and everything else is gonna start rolling in. Not how it works. Not how it works. That's what I was hoping.
Bro, tell me why.
That's what everyone was telling me too. Like.
Bro, I had a homie, bro. So I get my Montana offer. I had a homie who had an offer from South Dakota, or he was at South Dakota at the time. And I guess when he got his offer from South Dakota, the whole Missouri Valley must have came in after him. He was like, "Yeah, bro, the whole Big Sky's about to offer you, bro." Nobody, fuck crickets, bro.
I'm like, so when they about to start rolling in? Like, what's going on? But like after that, the only looks that I really had, like, if you guys did this, but my high school every year, like in the summer, we did a team camp, like kind of right before the season, where we would go to like one of the colleges. We went to Linfield, D3 out in Oregon,
Yep.
and like a couple other teams from the state in our league would go there, and we would all like stay there overnight for like the weekend or
Yep.
whatever, and then like scrimmage and
Padded
stuff like
camp
that.
type stuff.
Yeah, so they were my first offer because I went crazy at that camp, and I got that offer. But I'm like, bro, that's D3. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing against D3, but for me, it's like, especially staying in Oregon, I'm like, that's not what I'm shooting for. Yeah. So that was my very.
So
first
you really
offer.
wanted to get out of Oregon? Like with going to school, you really wanted to leave the state?
I mean, not necessarily. Like, I would have played at Portland State. I would have played at Oregon or Oregon State for sure. But
So is the D3 kind of like a pride thing? Like,
nah, it wasn't. It wasn't even a pride thing. It was more, I had been there for like 2 years, in the off season or whatever, and it wasn't my type of vibe. I wanted like a real college experience at a bigger college. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's kind of what I was shooting for.
So then, when did that first offer come through?
My first D1 offer was Air Force,
Okay.
and that was, I think, in the summer going into my senior year. And again,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's about to start rolling in. Like, this is the time.
Oh yeah.
It didn't happen. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But Air Force,
Yeah.
like, I was super happy to have my first offer. Called my mom, she was crying about it. I just couldn't stop smiling. But kind of actually like settling down and looking at it, I was like, that's not what I want to do. Because, like I said, I wanted a real college experience. And
That ain't.
yeah,
No offense.
no, it's
That ain't
definitely.
that.
I have so much respect for anyone who can do that. Especially as an 18-year-old. Like, it's wild. Keenan went there.
Yeah.
And he gave us.
We heard.
Yeah. He told us how it was, and I was like, that's exactly why. That's exactly why.
So then, you also had Georgetown, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think I got that until like into my senior season. So yeah, but I did have Georgetown, like I think mid-season my senior year.
So I went to like a few camps, and I had teams telling me like, we're gonna look how your senior season goes, and then we'll decide if we want to offer you. Were there schools like that telling you stuff like that?
Yeah, there was some, and I think mostly it was kind of like, we're gonna see basically if we get these other cats that we want, and if we don't get them, then we might spin back and see what you're talking about. Which I'm like,
see, but I wasn't even thinking about it back then. But I didn't even think that I was like the second option. I'm like, they just want to see me ball, and then they go offer me. Like,
yeah, no, I knew what time it was. I definitely knew what time it was.
See, I was probably naive, bro, because I wasn't even hip to none of that.
Yeah, but you had I think like more hype. Maybe not more hype, but like, you were playing at Oklahoma. You had went crazy. What, your sophomore and junior year?
Bro, you talking about in high school?
Yeah, I mean, not
Maury,
like, bro.
I never went crazy, bro.
But you had offers going into your senior year, no?
I had Montana, bro. That was my only.
That's
offer.
what I'm saying. You have a D1 offer going to your senior year. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. But I got that as a tight end. I was offered as a tight end.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were tight end. Big
People
body.
forget that, bro.
Big body.
Big body, bro. Okay, so you have your senior year. You go crazy.
Yeah.
You set all the records. When does Montana start to come into the equation?
I don't think Montana comes into the equation until, like, honestly, a couple weeks before signing day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And you immediately took a visit, or how did that process work? Who hit you up?
Yeah, so how it happened was, my OC plugged me in crazy. So Cody
Yeah.
Hawkins, his dad is Dan Hawkins, coached at
Yep.
Colorado School of Mines with Bob Stitt. So he had a good
Yep.
relationship with Bob Stitt, and Cody just put in a good word with me, for me. And you know how it was with Stitt when we were getting recruited. And this is one thing I love about Stitt is he recruited as much, character guys as he did skill. Like the character had to match the skill. He wasn't just out here
Yep.
getting bad dudes, and
Yep.
and Cody spoke to the type of person and leader I was to the team, and that's really what got me a shot. So he told me that, and I was hyped. He said expect a call from Coach Stitt. Coach Stitt calls me, and you know how that goes. So it was probably like 100-question interview, which was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I had never heard of anything like that, and it's something I think he changed the game with, and I think that he's still doing and applying it to different schools, but and
Yeah.
it was nothing really about football. Like he would use football scenarios, but it would be like, if one of your teammates wasn't going, 100% like you knew he could, what would you do in that situation? A bunch of
Definitely like
hypothetical.
a job interview, like
Yeah,
the questions they ask you in a job
yeah,
interview.
a bunch of hypothetical questions, but and I think he like graded it depending on he had some type of formula. So, but he said I did really good on that, and then they flew me out there for a visit. I think that next week.
Yeah. Okay. Then when did the offer at when during that call with Stitt did you get your offer, or when did the offer get put on the table?
The offer, I believe, got put on the table right after my visit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So then signing day comes around. You got Montana. At that time, did you know Montana's was a 50, or
yeah.
did
So
they let
yeah,
you guys? Did they let you know that?
yeah. Of course, they let me know.
Not to be disrespectful, but I don't know. I don't know how that works because
Nah, I would have been. I
they
would have.
offered me a full.
They, if they offered me a half and didn't tell me till I like got there or signed the papers, it would have been a problem. But not.
Yeah.
They told me straight up. They said your whole tuition is gonna be paid for, except room, board, housing, um, food, textbooks, like anything that wasn't like strictly classes, I had to pay for it. So like they
Yeah.
did low key give me a little bit because they were like your whole tuition's paid for. So I'm like, okay, like that's dang near everything. It's just like you're paying my
Yeah.
tuition. But there was
Nah, they had all of
a
it.
lot more fees that came with that. And we seen how that worked
Yeah.
out and how that was
Oh yeah.
tough on me. But um nevertheless I was grateful for it. Like I said, like I didn't really have a lot of other, big offers. And going to Montana,
Yeah.
on my visit, fell in love with it. Just the type of college town and community it was, and it was all about football. Like as soon as I went there, I knew like that was going to be my spot, and I had confidence in myself to, eventually earn a full scholarship.
So was there any discussion, or were you sold on your official because you have Georgetown, who was a full, correct? Or do they not offer fulls?
Um, I think I can't. I think it was around the same as Montana. Maybe it was more. It was more like 75% or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do like fulls.
Yeah. Okay. So then, really, you got Air Force, which is kind of like You got Georgetown, who's probably offering you some money. It was
Mhm.
really Montana, and you were like, "Yep, I'm there." And
Yeah,
there was only a couple weeks left, to be honest, too.
exactly. So it was getting down to it. But after I went to Montana, it was an easy decision.
And like, it's kind of crazy now. These kids got this second signing day. Like, they got signing day in December early, and then they got February, and then I think there's also one in like March or May or
Mhm.
April or something. So like, they got multiple times. Anyway, so you end up at Montana. Um, man, what was that summer like training for Montana? Because I know me, like I was trying to make sure I was ready, like trying to run sprints, all that stuff. What was that for you?
Um, Actually, a funny story about that. So one of my main trainers that I train with now, he had been hired as the strength coach at Westview after I left. But that summer,
Okay.
like you were too around your high school, like just working out and stuff. So I worked out with
Yep.
him and like the people who were still in high school. And boy, when I tell you, you put us through the hardest workout I've ever done. Because this, I didn't really like lift in high school like that. Like I would lift a little bit here and there at the team lifts in the little class that you
Yeah.
lift at, but I wasn't big in the weight
Yeah.
room. But he came in and changed the culture over there. But I went to one workout. I was like, yeah, I'm cool. Like I'm not used to that. I'm gonna get my own work in, like just go to the field, and then also train with my trainer Houston Lillard as well, like on the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't trying to do all that.
That boy put you in the weight room. You said he got it.
Yeah,
I'm good off of that.
yeah, and it wasn't just that. Like he had us like pushing weights to the 50-yard line and back, like in the turf, 100 degrees,
Oh,
like stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah, I was cool off that, but I definitely was putting a lot of work in going into that year, just because you're excited. You're like, okay, like this is real. I'm about to be a college football player, so you just try to get ready in any way you can.
So you get there, Montana. What are your first thoughts? Like those first couple days on campus, first practices. What are your thoughts?
I loved it. I was excited. It's overwhelming at first for sure because it's just a new experience, and going to a place like Montana, coming from a bigger city, is gonna be a little bit of a culture shock to you. But you know, I had all my guys like me, you, Josh, Nash, Brennan, like the
Yeah,
Calhoun, everyone. Like we all just our whole class got along so well, and it made everything
yeah,
easier just knowing like we were all going through it together.
yeah. Okay, so give me an experience freshman year when we were freshmen that let you know that like things were like college was different from high school, or give me an experience where you knew like you belonged or things were different, or
Football
what was
wise,
that first experience like
football.
football wise? Yeah,
Um, it was more just seeing how big everyone was. You know, like
yeah,
me coming in, I'm 165 soaking wet. Like I didn't lift weights.
yeah,
I just played. So I came in like, and Montana, like them boys lift for real,
yeah.
especially our
Oh yeah,
freshman year. So, and we had all those big DNs, big linebackers. I'm like, all right, like I need to get
yeah,
my weight up for sure. And me
yeah.
and Nicholson, shout out to Coach Nicholson. I hope he's
Yep.
doing good, but he just
Yep.
set up a plan for me, and we stuck to it. We had that dorm food, so
Oh man, the
yeah,
Fuzu.
that zoo. It was clutch freshman year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Freshman year, freshman year, we were in there religiously, and
Oh yeah.
I ended up putting on like 20 pounds just that
Yeah.
freshman year.
So is there a specific experience you remember on the field as a freshman where like you took a hit or you mossed somebody where you were like, oh yeah, like this is it, man.
No, I think it was just practices in general, and just seeing how fast everything was, and a whole new playbook, complicated plays. But I really just try to lean on the vets that were there, especially Jerry. Um,
Yeah.
and he helped me a lot. But just the intensity, of everything, the practices, the walkthroughs, the meetings, the lists, like it's just an adjustment for sure. So
Yeah.
I don't have one specific moment, but just that whole like first fall camp was like a really eye opener.
Yeah. What was the transition like academically? What was your thoughts about that? Like transitioning into, now school, football, like you're on your own. What was
Uh,
that like?
that wasn't really tough for me because like I always got like decent grades. I was a pretty good student. I wasn't no 4.0 or
Yeah.
anything, but I never like failed any of my classes. And
Yeah.
because like we said, growing up, pops really wasn't playing that. Like you got that comes first. So uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of an adjustment just having so much freedom. It's kind of hard to stay locked in,
Yeah.
but I didn't have too much problems with that.
Talk about that though. You mentioned the freedom. That was something that was like surprising to me too. Like when my dad finally left campus, I was like, dang, like I'm just out here on my own.
Yeah.
Like,
hmm
what was the experience like with that?
it was amazing. Like, what you mean? You know how it was. Like, we were just. I think everyone can relate to that though. Like when you first get to college, like if you go to college like away from home, like even if it's close to
Yep.
your home, like it's just having that freedom, and especially being a football player, like because when people go to college and don't play any sports or anything, it might be hard to like make friends and branch out like that depending on who you are. But
Yeah.
with football, it's just
Facts.
so easy because you all come in together, you with the guys all day, so it was a
Mm-hmm.
great time for sure. One of the best times,
For
honestly. I
sure.
always look back and think about just college in general. It was a great experience.
So coming out of our redshirt year where we didn't play, what was your feelings about going into freshman year, playing time? Like, what was your thoughts? Did you like? Because I can't remember who else was at F with you. It was F at that time, right? I think it was F. Yeah.
My true freshman year.
No, redshirt freshman. Our redshirt freshman year.
Oh, it was Jerry. Jerry was there.
Jerry. Yeah, but Mitch was there too. Like, were you a 2 coming into camp?
I want to say coming into camp. I don't think I was a 2 because we had Jerry, Scoot, and Mitch.
Scoot, I forgot about Scoot.
Yeah, so
yeah.
But by the end of camp, I was the 2.
And what was that like? Because freshman year was kind of like your breakout year. So what was that like leading up to that, like in training camp, and how were you feeling going into all of that?
I was feeling pretty confident and anxious at the same time because you had been there for a whole year. That redshirt year is big and kind of like getting accustomed to everything. So I felt like by that time, I was ready, but I was still anxious just because still having played in front of 25,000 people, like.
Yeah,
it's just a different type of atmosphere, especially going to all the games, as a red shirt and just seeing the electricity and just seeing how crazy it is. Like I was nervous. I was like, shit, it's getting real now, So, but Jerry was someone who kept my confidence up all the time. And
oh yeah,
just watching him, like he was snapping, bro. He was a fan favorite. Like he was big man on campus. So like.
Yeah.
I would always just go to him and be like, yo, like, I'm nervous. Like, this is real. Like, I would ask him so many questions about, like, I'm just trying to always pick his brain. And he would always tell me, don't even worry. You're going to be good. Like, I've seen how you work. I've seen how you play. Like, you're just going to go out there and just ball out. So he instilled a lot of confidence in me, for sure.
Bro, everybody needs a vet like Jerry, man. Like, Jerry never took anything too seriously. Always calm, cool, and collected. And, like, man, like,
every team needs a Jerry for sure.
Dope, man. Facts, bro. Facts. So you blow up that season. Well, you have a really good season that year. 500 receiving yards. I think you had like 30 receptions, 5 touchdowns. What was your feeling following that season? What was your thoughts like? How'd you feel, man?
I was thinking league. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking league. I was like,
that's when it was like, we there.
I was like 1% of the 1%. I think I can do that. I think I can do that. Like,
yeah,
just cause. Yeah. I mean, it felt so natural to me, and it was just so fun. Yeah. I just loved it so much. Like, I think that's the year I really realized like how much I love football, and I was like, I want to do this for as long as I can. So I had a lot of high expectations for myself going into that sophomore year.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
So I feel like now it's a little opposite going into college because in high school, you had a different regime that you didn't so much have a good rapport with. And then a new regime comes in, new eyes, and they're like, oh, we can definitely do something with this dude. In college, you got the STIT system where you had built a great rapport. They get let go following that season, and a new regime comes in. What was your thought when Coach Houck came to Montana, back to Montana?
I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. Like I was very close to transferring, but that was before the portal, so it's a lot of hoops you got to jump through to be able to be eligible to play right away.
Right.
But because
you just weren't. Are you saying you weren't happy just because you had built such a great relationship with the previous regime?
I wasn't happy because remember I'm on a 50% scholarship, and
I forgot.
After that year, I'm good. Like I talked to them. We had the exit meetings or whatever.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, you're going on full for sure. Like next semester, you're on full. Like you done what you're supposed to do. Like, and I'm hyped about it. And then they get fired.
Yep.
As soon as they get fired, I'm like, so how is this gonna work with me? So when Houck and the new regime comes in, I'm like, dang. Well, I hope they just kind of watch the film from
Right.
last year, like Cody did,
Right.
and be like, okay, this is the guy for us. Like, and I can't remember if I talked to Stitt himself or if I talked to Pease. I talked to one of the coaches, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So they had said they were gonna put me on full. So I'm just trying to see, like, what we're gonna do.
Is y'all keeping the same energy or what?
I'm like, did y'all watch the film from last year? They're like, yeah, we did. You know, you're a great player. So I'm like, so what's the word? And they're like, yeah, well, you're gonna have to prove yourself with us, just through spring ball, And
Yeah.
in that at that time, I was pretty upset about it just because I felt like I had deserved it. I worked so hard for it, and I was told it was coming to
You
me,
did.
and it didn't come. And I didn't understand it. Like, you have all this film. Like, why do I need to prove myself again?
Right.
But looking back on it, I can see why. I can see why they made me do it. You know,
Why do you say that?
because Hauk was just a completely different coaching style. A lot more old school, a lot more strict. You know, and it was tough. It wasn't easy. They didn't make it easy. You know, they were really hard
Yeah.
on us. And you see how it was that first spring ball. Like, they weeded a lot of guys out. A lot of guys didn't
Oh,
make it
bro.
through that spring ball. So
Winter Condo.
Winter Condo.
Some dudes didn't even make it to spring ball.
They didn't even make it. A lot of dudes didn't make it to secondary Winter Condo. Like, it's really crazy.
Bro.
But so that's how I can see, like, okay, I could have easily just been one of them who just like, oh, this is too hard. Like, I'm out of here. So I can see why they made me prove it. But, you know, I ended up doing it.
So did you end up getting a scholarship that spring? Was it that summer? What was the timeline on you getting that scholarship?
I think it was that summer. I think it was like, did that spring ball still on 50, but then that next fall camp or that next semester I was on full.
And who told you? Did Pease tell you? Did Hauk tell you? What was that feeling like? You know, sometimes when people get on full, you were on half, but sometimes when people get on full, they're like, "Yeah, we're giving such and such a scholarship."
No, it wasn't one. It wasn't one of those.
It wasn't like
big
that.
things in front of the team, but you know, I was definitely happy to get that.
Yeah. Okay, so that 2018, statistically, you kind of took a step back. What do you feel like? Why do you feel like that happened? Do you feel like it was because of the new offense, or what do you think about that? You know, taking a step back your sophomore year.
Yeah, that's just a sophomore slump. Like, you wouldn't know about that because you went stupid your sophomore year. But but it was just I think it was because they moved me to outside. That's really what it was. Because I was slot and they moved me to outside receiver, and it was kind of hard.
You talked about that a lot now that I think about it. That 2018 year, about how it was just like a little different.
It was just different,
the
like
routes and getting open and stuff.
Going from slot to the outside, like slot, you have a lot more room to work. You have a lot of space, and I was just so used to it. And you know, outside is different. You know, contact, and you got to be just a lot more precise. So it was an adjustment for me, but it ended up working out.
So after that sophomore year, I'll never forget, we were running routes, and we had just caught a post, and we're standing in the south end zone in Wa Grizz. And I remember you looked at me, and you were like, I don't know, bro. Like, I just feel like we're about to go crazy this year. What made you feel like that? Because, like, I don't know if you know, like, you really gave me a lot of confidence at that point.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know if I had a ton of confidence. Obviously, I had just had a good year, but, like, I don't know. I've never been, like, a super overly confident guy. What made you feel like that?
I don't know. I just kind of saw it coming. I saw everything aligning, especially because how much we worked in the off season. You know, I think up to that point, that was the hardest I've worked kind of year round. Because I was disappointed in how my season went, and you had already went crazy, and we were just putting in so much work, like on the very field, in Wa Grizz where we would play, and I would just visualize it all the time, looking into the stands when it's empty, but picturing it completely full, loud crowd. Like I just visualized that, and you know, I seen it coming. What can I say?
Yeah. So that season, you go absolutely crazy. After that year, I know it's like, okay, yeah, we at 1%. We at 1% now. What was your feelings like in that 2019 season?
Shoot, I was ready to get up out of there. I was thinking league, you know. Really, I was waiting on a Senior Bowl invite. Is what I was doing
as a junior.
Because I think it's because I redshirted and played 3 years. I think I was still
Yeah.
eligible for it.
Yep.
So I had told Coach Hauk, "What's up? Like, do you think this is a good opportunity? Like, do I have a good opportunity to make it?" And he was in contact with the guy who runs it, and I was kind of like a
Yeah.
fringe guy, but in my head, I'm like, if I get that offer, I'm to go to the Senior Bowl, I'm gonna go and declare for the league, but it didn't end up coming in, so I decided to come back.
Okay. You come back. Damn. So that was the only differentiator. You get the Senior Bowl invite, you're gonna go. Not you stay. You don't get it. You stay.
Yeah,
You.
because I felt like that's what I needed. Because at least at the time, I don't think it's still like that as much, but the NFL kind of looked at FCS players more as an asterisk, unless you're like a Cooper Cup or a
Yeah.
Kendrick Bourne who's going absolutely stupid.
Bro, you had 1,500, bro.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's still FCS. So NFL, NFL scouts are
Yeah.
going to say anything they can to kind of like
Oh yeah.
bring you a notch down. So it's like,
They
okay,
do anything.
he had 1,500, but he didn't go against any NFL caliber DBs. So I'm
Right.
like, if I get that opportunity to go to the Senior Bowl, I can play against the best DBs in the country and show them and put myself in a good position to get drafted. So that's kind of how I looked at it, but it didn't end up happening like I said. So I came back.
So you don't declare. Are you? Because that at that point the transfer portal is like very new. I think that's the second year. I think 2018 was really when the transfer portal happened. 2019 would. Are you thinking transfer at this point, or are you riding with Montana? What was your thought during that offseason?
During that offseason, I was definitely thinking about transferring, but I think that year the transfer portal still wasn't, I think, fully intact. I know I had
Right.
to graduate before I transferred
You could.
back then,
Yep.
but I just decided to stay. I felt like we had a good team. I felt like we had a really good chance to do a lot that year. So I made the decision to come back.
Came back, man. Our team was looking crazy,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Our team was looking so crazy that year. COVID happened, so that's
Yeah.
2020 now. COVID happens, and you have your degree now, but still, like the transfer portal is kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what led to that decision to transfer instead of stick it out and wait till we play in 2021?
Yeah, I just wasn't trying to do that. I mean, it was tough how it went because COVID was so crazy, but we
Yeah,
we thought we were gonna have a season all the way up until fall camp. I
facts,
feel like it was
bro.
that first day of fall camp. He brought us up after, and he was like, "We're not gonna be playing this season.
Facts,
We don't
bro.
have the
That
money."
was whack the way they did that,
Yeah,
bro.
I
That was
mean,
whack the way the Big Sky did
it's
that.
not. I don't think it's the Big Sky's fault, but they just didn't have the money for it. They didn't have the funding. Like it would have been
Yeah,
too much. So that was really disappointing to me, and I think it was at that moment when I was like, I'm out of here, just because. First of all, that was all of our, I think, first year not playing football during football
yeah,
season. Like
facts, facts.
my whole life, I never
Fall.
sat out and watched other people play and not play. So
Yeah,
I had been at Montana, I think 4 years at that point, 4.5, maybe almost
yep,
5 years. I was like,
yep,
I can't just sit around out here and watch everyone else play and not play. Especially when I was already considering transferring before. That was kind of
yep.
the staple where it was like, let me go see what I can do.
Yeah. Okay, so you enter the transfer portal. What was the recruitment like? Because now you're back being recruited. So what was that like? What was the recruiting trail like? What were teams talking about?
It wasn't really back being recruited. It was really being recruited for the first time. Like, to be honest, because
Facts, facts,
I didn't really go
facts.
through it, but I wasn't a big fan of it at all. Like, I really wasn't a big fan of it.
Huh?
I mean, I'm not. I thought like going into my all right, like you said, it's my chance to like, be recruited a
Be
little bit.
wanted.
Yeah, yeah. And it was kind of a lot of fake stuff. People were saying halfway like truths, but I will say it was hard. That was a hard time because that's when everyone was granted a 6 year, and
Yeah.
guys didn't know who were.
Everybody jumped in that portal.
Yeah, and not only that, but like coaches didn't know if their receivers were going to come back or not, and I couldn't make and they
Facts.
couldn't offer me, and I couldn't make a decision based off of that. So I kind of had to
Yep.
wait it out, and like I had a lot of schools, contact me, and tell me they were going to offer me and then be like, yo, our guy's coming back or we're going with somebody else. So it was another stressful time for sure, but I think I ended up making the right decision.
Did that kind of make you feel like, because we talked about when you were in high school, you were hip to game about like they're just waiting to see if they're guys that they really want commit. Damn near you right back there, but you just had 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, like you broke all the Montana records, and still you gotta wait for them to make a decision on somebody else, bro.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but I knew I was gonna end up somewhere FBS Power 5, and I knew I was gonna make the most of my opportunity. Like I had the utmost confidence in myself, especially sitting out that year. Like I just became so hungry, and I was like honestly really not. I don't want to say bitter, but just watching everybody else play and just having to be up in the crib, cooped up, like it wasn't easy. So I was definitely more than ready to play.
So Nebraska ends up coming on the radar. What? Who contacted you? Was it the receiver coach? Was it the recruiter? Or how did that situation work out?
I want to say it was the recruiting coordinator at first. Talked to them a little bit, and then I think Frost ended up calling me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got that offer. Went to Nebraska. What was the Big Ten like, bro?
It was dope. You know, it was definitely a big change from Montana. Just coming from any FCS school to, I mean, as far as the community and the town, it was very similar. Like college town, historical football program. It was just kind of like the Power 5 version of it. But you know, facilities wise and money wise and food wise, we just had so much more things to our advantage that it made it really easy to kind of just go there, get accustomed to it, and it put me in a good position to be successful.
So did you notice, I mean, I know Nebraska is historical and they were good way back in the early 2000s, 90s. Was there a culture at Nebraska? Was it similar to Montana in terms of Montana had a culture with Hauckset, but what was that like? Noticing like a different, because at this point that you go to Nebraska, they haven't really won a ton. And you're coming from a place that you did win a little bit. So what was that like?
They did have a culture similar to Montana, as far as, you know, it's such a historical program and the fans, you know, care so much about it. So there's a lot of similar. Both all really are sold out. Both could be in a conversation for the best stadium in their respective divisions, you know.
Yep.
But as far as like football wise, and it was a little bit different. I think Coach Houck was a lot more old school and a lot tougher on us, which is part of the reason why we were so successful over there and why he's had so much success. Nebraska was a little bit different, you know. Just I think any Power 5 is just a little bit different. The players we got a lot more kind of like leeway. It was a lot less strict, I would say, than Montana, and it was kind of a, you know, a weird transition there, especially just seeing, you know, kind of like just Power 5 coming into the Big Ten, especially Nebraska. Like recruits came in, or like younger guys came in, like I felt like they were almost ungrateful for what they had because everyone was so used to it. And, you know, in Montana, like I said, we did not have no training table. A lot of stuff, you know, we didn't have. So to see like a lot of my like,
you're grateful, man.
Yeah. I was just grateful for everything going into Nebraska for sure. I was beyond grateful. I was taking advantage of everything too. I'm putting Gatorades in my backpack, taking 3 plates of food to go. I'm like, it's free. It was funny, like when me and my mom went there for the first time, and they're like giving us a tour of everything. My mom is just like, "Oh my God, this is the weight room. Wait, this is the players' lounge. You guys got video games?" Like she was like
blown away.
Yeah, she was blown away, and I was like, kind of like nudging her, like, "Mom, like play it cool. Like you gotta act like we've been here before." She was acting like we ain't seen nothing. I was like, "You gotta just play it cool." She's like, "Oh, okay, like my bad, but." You know how moms are.
Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, my gosh. I mean, but she probably saw... So, when you went on your visit to Montana, did they take you into the locker rooms? Because they didn't take me in the locker rooms.
Yeah, I think I went in the locker room.
So your mom had seen. That's why she's probably because she saw what Montana was.
She didn't go on my visit with me to Montana.
Oh,
I went by myself.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I think
my mom went me on my
she
visit.
knew what the locker room looked like, and she had seen everything,
Yeah.
you know. But it was just Nebraska puts a lot of money into their facilities and stuff. So yeah, she was hyped.
So what's the biggest difference? What's the biggest difference you noticed from the FCS to the Big Ten?
Football wise,
Yeah.
probably the front seven, the trenches, O line, D line, linebackers, all big, all fast, all strong. Like, and I think that was kind of the bigger thing is like players were a lot bigger and stronger because
Yeah.
they have the better facilities, weight rooms, training tables, nutritionists, all
More
that.
scholarships.
Yeah, they got it all, but it's not a big of a difference than people think. You know, people
Yeah.
I think tend to think that there's this big disparity between FCS and FBS, but skill position, I don't think there was a big difference. Like I said, they were bigger and stronger, but I think FCS and FBS skill positions are a lot closer than people think. But the trenches, I did notice a big difference.
Yeah. So that season, you went off for like almost 900 receiving yards. I can't remember how many touchdowns you had, but talk a little bit about the success that you saw at Nebraska.
It was kind of like it kind of just went according to plan. You know, aside from our record, you know, we hope to do better than that, but. I just
best 3-9, best 3-9 team ever, man.
Yeah, it was rough, but I came in there basically like I told you, saying okay, like the only thing NFL scouts can say is they haven't seen me against Power 5 DBs, and I feel like I held my own and more against them, so I feel like I put myself in a good position to get drafted.
What would you say was the highlight of that season for you?
Probably the Ohio State game.
Man,
even though,
I had that in my notes, man.
Yeah, even though we lost, like that was the game that got me drafted, and that's what the Packers told me. They told me I got they told me I got drafted because of that game.
What'd you go for 150 and like 2 touchdowns?
150 and 2.
Damn.
I think 2. Yeah, and I got tackled on like the 1 yard line on one of them.
Yeah. What they were like what, top 5, top 10 at that point too, right?
Yeah, CJ Stroud, Chris Olave played. I don't think Njigba played that game, but yeah, they had some boys, and we ended up losing, but it was a close game.
I mean, every game that year was close, bro. That was what the sickening part about it was. Yeah. Okay, so I only got a little bit long. I don't got too much more, bro. I know we've been on here for an hour. So you got. What was the agent search like for you? So you went crazy. Had you looked at agents before that season, or did you not start looking at them? Because I feel like you really got to do it before the season, bro, or at least during the season. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of agents hit me up after my junior year at Montana. You know, and that's also a reason why I was like, okay, I can go lead because I got a bunch of agents, kind of hit me up.
They letting you know.
Yeah,
they're looking at the grades that the scouts are putting on there.
Exactly. So, but I found a few that I kind of like kept in touch with, but I ended up finding my agent Henry Oregon at Disruptive. He started talking to me about maybe midway through the year, and then we kind of just kept
Nebraska.
And we kind of just kept that relationship going, and talked with a lot of other agents as well, but ended up signing with Disruptive because I felt like that was the best fit for me.
Okay, and I know you guys talked about probably what your draft focus should be, or what your combine or pro day focus should be. What was like really your focus going into the draft process? What were you trying to focus on? Where was your mindset at?
I wanted to be, at least low 190s with weight. I was that I was around like 190, 193 throughout, my later years of college, but you know how it goes in season, you lose a little bit of weight. Yep. And for me, it's really still really easy for me to lose weight if I'm not, eating right. So my whole thing was, get my weight up to like 193, 194 and just run fast. That's really all. Like I knew I could run routes. I have good hands, but it was just, get my body right and run fast.
Okay. So you performed really well at your pro day. Did you talk to any scouts at your pro day? Like, what was your feelings like following your pro day?
Yeah, I talked to a few scouts that were there. Yeah, I did have a pretty good pro day, and they were just a couple teams talked to me. I think I talked to the Steelers. I talked to the Bengals because the Bengals had said if you run under a 4.5, then we'll talk. That's basically what they said. And I ran under a 4.5, and we talked. I went on a 30-day. I ended up going on a 30-day visit there, but I had talked to a
Yeah.
few scouts, but no, it was no like super big interest still.
So did you have any idea at that point, following your pro day couple weeks after your pro day, did you have any idea of where you might get drafted, where your projection had went? Because I feel like your stock probably went up a little bit following your pro day because you did really well.
Yeah, I mean it did, but a big thing for me was I wanted to go to the combine so bad. Like I really wanted a chance to go to the
Yeah.
combine because I felt like that would like really give me a chance to you know do the best. But didn't end up getting that. Was really disappointed about that. But after my pro day, I was like, all right, like I got interest from some teams. It all how it goes. It all depends on how the draft goes and who gets picked where. But I'm
Yeah.
like hearing from my agent and other people like day three, of course. But once day three hits, you don't know what could happen. It could be fifth, could be sixth, could be seventh, could be undrafted. So
Yep.
you're just gonna have to just keep working and just see what happens.
So pick 258, not undrafted. Seventh round
Yeah,
draft pick. I think
almost,
there was 262.
almost undrafted, almost, but not.
Almost.
Yeah, I think I was the
Four
fifth.
picks left.
Yeah, like fifth to last pick, something like that.
Yeah. So there was 262. Brock Purdy was the last pick in that draft
Yeah.
that year. You went 258.
Mhm.
What was that feeling like, bro?
It was a super stressful day, but the moment I did get
Oh, yeah.
drafted, it was very surreal. Kind of like all my work coming to fruition in one moment. I was very happy. Like regardless of where I got picked, I was happy to go to Green Bay, play with QB like A-Rod. Like it was just surreal. I was very excited.
What was your feelings that whole rookie year? Because at this point, like, you manifested it as a kid. You want to play professional football. Now your dream is here. You've been drafted. You're playing with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. What was that rookie year like that season?
Rookie year was definitely a learning curve. Like you said, it was very surreal at first. Going to a locker room and seeing A Rod and Aaron Jones and like what? Like I'm really here.
Yeah.
But it's the same. It's the same thing with college. Like you come in with your guys.
Yeah.
Came in with Romeo, Christian, and we kind
Yeah.
of just learned it and went through it together. And it was a lot. Definitely faster speed. A
Yeah.
lot more attention to detail. But I slowly figured it out and you know ended up finding my routine, finding my rhythm.
So I asked Cook this too. Was there like a moment during your rookie year where you saw somebody do something freakish, or like you just saw somebody do something dumb athletic and you thought like, man, this is different? What was that like?
Um, I think just watching the way Aaron Jones practiced, just like the type of effort he gave, like every single play was insane. Um, First of all, he's just a great guy. Like first day, he doesn't even know who we
Yeah.
are, but he's just all smiles, super welcoming. Let me know if you need anything. And then just seeing the type of leader he was and the type of player he was, just watching him was he was a great vet to learn from.
For sure. Um, man, Packers. Now you're on the Bears. What has that experience been like for transitioning from the Packers to the Bears?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was weird. It was really weird at first
Yeah.
because I get cut on the final day by the Packers, and I'm at the Bears facility like a day or two later. So it
Yep.
was just surreal because especially them being rivals. I was like, I just kept saying I'm really a bear. It's funny. My first day I
Yeah.
went there, I had to go in at like 5 a.m. for physicals, and we had practice that day. And I still had on a Green Bay
Yeah.
wristband, and like the
Ah.
doctors are taking my blood, and she's like, "Yeah, you might want to take that off. They don't ain't no Green Bay gear in there." So I had to learn that quick, but it was definitely weird at first, but uh, eventually, it just became normal. I got used to it.
Okay, so I got 2 more questions for you. Looking back, is there anything you wish you could tell your younger self on like your whole journey from high school, youth ball, college, the transition to Nebraska, even getting drafted?
I mean, there's nothing I would change, but I probably just would have told myself lock in football or basketball, whatever I wanted to do from an earlier age. Just like we talked about, because I felt like locking in earlier and like trying to really working and honing my skills. Who knows what could have happened? It could have put me in a better position, or it couldn't have mattered. But
Yeah,
that's probably what I would tell
yeah.
myself.
Okay, one more. Did you have a teacher or mentor who made a significant impact on you during your career or during your come up
You
during your
said
journey?
who? A teacher or a coach?
A teacher or a mentor.
Um,
It could be a coach.
yeah,
Anybody who had a significant impact on you.
significant impact. I would say Houston Lillard. Um, he's somebody who I started training with going into my senior year, like I said, and he's the first person who really like made me believe that I can make it to the league. Honestly, because he he has worked with a lot of people in the league. He was a great arena football player. Worked with,
Yeah,
played with Stevie Johnson in college and JUCO. Um, yeah, different, but he
different.
he put it in my head like you can go to the league, right? Like if you just put the work in, you do what you're supposed to do. Like you are good enough. I've seen it. I'm like like he made me believe it. So he definitely
Yeah.
helped me hone my skills as far as footwork, as far as my hands, as far as releases. So he definitely shout out to Houston. He definitely played a big part, and I wouldn't be where I am today without him.
It's so crazy that you say that, bro, because I feel like people like that. Like it takes that one coach. Like I had a coach like that in my high school career, my sophomore year, that really put that belief in me. But it's crazy that like it just takes one person to say, like, I believe in you. I see what you can't see right
Exactly.
now. And I know you can be
Yeah,
great.
and that's what makes me like, and you're the same way. Quick to like, oh, could you come talk to these kids at my high school? Talk to the team, because I know all it takes is just one person. So if I can be that one person, like help
Yeah.
this kid believe, I'm gonna do it no matter what. Because you know how it was as kids.
100%.
We were little youth football players looking up to high school players like they were, God. Like I'm like, dang, like
Yep.
bro just went for 4 touchdowns, and he's right here. And we're playing like our
Yeah.
little BS football on the side on the track or whatever game.
Yeah.
So like going from that to imagining like being a youth football player and talking to an NFL player, like I never even talked to any college kids, but I can even imagine how stars be.
Yeah.
So that's why every chance I get, I try to show love to the kids, because I know first it means a lot to them. Second of all, it could really like change the outcome of their life.
Facts, bro. Facts. Facts. Well, I appreciate you coming on my channel, bro. Appreciate you so much. You my dog for life,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Can't wait till we outside in Vegas for the
Yes,
bachelor.
sir.
It's gonna be a movie. But appreciate you, dog. And good luck going forward, dog.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
appreciate you.